accessing from a desktop or laptop, sir?
Laptop.
Okay, laptop. Can you disconnect the call and try reconnecting again? Before you reconnect, when you try disconnecting the call and try reconnecting. Before you reconnect, when you click the link from the main the joining link, it will open in a page where you will be able to check your mic as well as the video. If the video is not shown over there itself, there will be a pop-up at the top asking you to allow use of camera and mic. You have to click allow, only then the camera will be given access to open. So you can you log out, and when you log in again, that time you have to click allow because the computer will ask permission whether the browser can access your mic and camera. If you click allow, then your camera will be started. Can you see yourself? So till okay. Which browser are you using, sir? Google Chrome. No? Is it updated on the extreme right? There'll be 3 dots. If you can just check if it is asking for update your Chrome browser. Yeah, on the extreme right. It is not asking to update. No update option is there. Okay. Just close this tab and try to reopen and try to rejoin. So maybe that could be it. Acha. Camera light is glowing. Have you joined the call, sir? Acha. Can you just click join? Let me just check if it is. Okay. Okay. Yeah, camera is still not coming on correctly. Yeah, it's still showing blank only.
No, microphone is on. Restart means what?
Amala madam.
Ma'am, good morning. Ma'am, start பண்ணிடலாம். Ma'am, கேக்குதுங்களா? Hello.
Good morning madam. பண்ணலாம்ப்பா, பண்ணலாம். 100 members வந்தாச்சே உள்ள.
Yes ma'am. Ma'am,
ஒரு வெல்கம் ஸ்லைடு போடுங்களேன். நம்மளோட ஈஸ்வரி காலேஜ் வெல்கம் ஸ்லைடு போடுங்களேன்ப்பா.
மேம் அது நாங்க போட்டிருக்கோம் மேம். சாரும் பிரசன்ட் ஸ்க்ரீன் ஷேர் பண்றதுனால வரல மேம். நாங்க வெல்கம் ஸ்லைடு
மேம் ஒரு 2 மினிட்ஸ் நான் ஷேர் பண்றேன்.
ரெடியா இருக்கு மேம்.
காண்டிபன் சார் ஸ்கிரீன் ரெடி ஆயிடுச்சா? காண்டிபன் சாரோட ஸ்கிரீன் ரெடி ஆயிட்டா நம்ம இது பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாம்.
ம்.
I'll switch on the mic now because I'm hearing. You're able to hear me, no?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. I can hear you.
That's okay. Then we'll keep it on like this. Let me just.
Kandiban sir, are you going to give any presentation, sir? PPT like that?
Ma'am, yes ma'am. After that, Akash sir.
Presentation, sir is going to,
Yeah,
you
ma'am. Yeah,
collect
ma'am.
that PPT so that you can present. Because Kandiban sir's video is not coming, no?
Kandiban sir has got a presentation. I actually have a copy of it.
Sir, if video is not coming, you can't share the screen, sir.
No, he can do the presentation, madam. Only his screen, his video, his face is not seen, but his presentation screen can be reviewed. That's not a problem. So I think can we start now?
That's not a problem, sir.
Yes, madam
sir.
is going to give the welcome
welcome speech. Yes, sir. Welcome address. I will do it, sir. Mechanical HOD is also available, sir.
So how we are going to do is, madam, you are going to give the welcome speech. Then I will start this one on the IPA, and then I will hand it over to your student chapter, who is going to introduce Mr. Kantipan, and from there Kantipan will take over.
Okay, sir.
Right, this is the flow.
Okay, sir.
So you can start. If you are ready, we can start. I think it's 11 o'clock.
Yes, sir. I am ready. I am ready, sir.
So you can start, madam. You're welcome.
Okay, sir.
You can ask all the others to mute their mic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All the participants also we have given in the chat, sir. We have given in the chat to mute when they enter. And good morning to all. On behalf of Civil Engineering Department, Ishwari Engineering College, I am very happy and to welcome you all for this third webinar series conducted by Civil Department. Both the webinars, here also the participants has crossed, the registration has crossed 250. So slowly other participants also will join, I hope. This is a very important topic, and I want to thank the Indian Plumbing Association for already accepting this webinar series. Thank you, sir. Thank you for accepting and helping us in this important topic. See, the architecture and civil engineers are very important to give a shape and structure and the aesthetics of a building. Like that, MEP service is also very important to provide facilities to buildings like lift, HVAC, firefighting, and water, drainage facilities, plumbing, etc. Now, in addition to this mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, electronics also plays an important role in adding facilities to the buildings. All the commercial or industrial buildings or a residential building, like security services, other data logging systems are required. So in this area, a proper syllabus or a proper covering in the curriculum is not available. So today's topic gains importance in that way. And now the chairman of Indian Plumbing Association is also available. So I request you to provide a certificate course for the graduate engineers, sir, on behalf of from the Plumbing Association, so that the students will get an idea about this and get trained in this, just like a value-added courses, so that their employability skills will be increasing. And in this context, I welcome Mr. Kandiban sir, who is going to talk on importance of MEP services. And today's session will include, there is a briefing about the Indian Plumbing Association also. At the same time, I also welcome HOD Mechanical, Ishwari Engineering College for helping us to coordinate this topic. Welcome, sir. I welcome Chairman of Indian Plumbing Association, Mr. Abbas Lagri, sir. Welcome, sir. And I thank our Professor Veepan, sir, for arranging in a very short notice this webinar series. Thank you very much, Veepan, sir. And I thank and congratulate our student chapter coordinators, Ms. Ala and Ms. Amala Civil Department and Mr. Selvadurai of Mechanical Department. Thank you for arranging such an important topic. I hope all the participants will be benefited by this. I now hand over the session to Mr. Abbas Lagri, Chairman, Indian Plumbing Association, for briefing about the Plumbing Association. Sir, please, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mrs. Lavanya. It was a great pleasure, for giving us this opportunity to conduct this webinar on behalf of IPA. I would just like to give a short preview of IPA, what we are doing and what it is. This is the on the screen. You can see the disclaimer notice, and of course today Mr. Kantipan is going to talk, and tomorrow Mr. Jose is going to talk on the opportunities. And today I think importance of MEP by Mr. Kantipan. Sen, how do you change the screen, Sen? 1 minute. So we have various activities. We are having our Indian Plumbing Professional League, which we conducted at your premises last year. This year also we are planning to do, probably it will be a virtual quiz competition, because physically it is not possible because of this, the pandemic which is going on. We're planning to start somewhere during September. And this is how it is going to be. It will be about 23 chapters across India, 750 plus teams. That's about 1,500, members will be joining. Opportunities of our professional knowledge across pan-India networking, and of course the prizes are there, first, second, and third. And also we give a live membership of IPA to all participants. We have also joined hands with the Rotary Club for next 5 years with our very close to our heart mission called I Save Water, where we are going to install the aerators with the support of Rotary, and the theme is reduce, reuse, and reclaim. We have also on this COVID 2019, we have submitted a white paper along with the other 5 strong associations like the ISHRE, the FSAI, the EMA, and ASCOM. ASCOM is the main partner who with the help of them, all the 6 societies, we have made a white paper presentation. It's about 59 page document. If you require, it is with me. I can share it with your HOD and your maybe your student chapter president also, so that it can be shared with you all. And these are the various sponsors who've been supporting us. Of course, without them it is not possible. So this is it about the IPA. Now I thank of course Mrs. Lavanya, Mrs. Amala, Mr. Veerappan, of course, for giving us this opportunity, and also the student chapter of the Ishwari College. Thank you very much, and I'll hand over to the student chapter who's going to introduce Mr. Kantipan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Lokesh.
Good morning to one and all present. Yeah. Good morning to one and all present here. Engineer R. Kandipan is a 1981 batch graduate in mechanical engineering from Tyagarajar College of Engineering, Madurai, Kamarajar University, Madurai, and a 1983 batch postgraduate in air conditioning and refrigeration engineering from College of Engineering, Guindy, Anna University, Chennai. He had worked in leading HVAC companies in India for almost 12 years and had worked for a brief period in the Middle East. He is one of the founder members of ISHE, Indian Society of Heating, Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Engineers, Chennai chapter. He had presented a seminar papers on psychometrics and heat load calculations. He had conducted training classes for CPWD engineers on AC system designs. Started off in the year 1996 to providing MEP consultancy services and is one of the first MEP consultants in Chennai. Ever since, for the past 21 years, been designing MEP services for almost all applications like hotels, hospitals, shopping malls, office buildings, IT buildings, industries, residential towers, etc. Sir, we warmly welcome you to this webinar to present, and we wish to be it to be a grand success. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Kantipan, can you share your presentation, sir? I think he's got some technical glitch.
I actually have his presentation. If you need, I can probably put it on. But he has to say yes.
That is a good idea. Actually, you can present, and I think he can. Yes, sir. Sir, you close now. You present, sir. It is closed only. நீங்க பேசினாக்கா automatic ஆயிடும். You do one thing. You unmute your mic. You unmute your mic. Only then once you start speaking, then your screen will come.
Okay.
Yeah. Now your screen has come. Now you can present.
But my screen is not appearing there in the this thing.
We can see your. Now we can see you, sir. Your camera is on. We can see you. Put the screen. Put the camera a little down. I don't know. I can see the head.
No, this is not mine. This is not mine.
It's not you. Achha, okay. Yeah.
It's not mine. But share your entire screen is there. But my screen is not being shown in that.
See now your screen has come.
But it's not appearing in mine.
Have you shared your PPT?
My PPT is being seen or what?
No, your PPT is not being seen. You share your PPT?
No, but this has to on. No, now it came and went.
You share your PPT?
No, it came and went.
ஒன்னும் வரலையே, அது இங்கே கே தான் இருக்கு. Or
no, only your face is coming.
Because I am talking.
No, you mute your.
Now, sir, yeah, it's come presenting. Yeah, done. Now it is presenting. 1 minute. I'll call Hussein. He will tell you what. Hussein, this one has come. Now what to do? Hussein. Now,
hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This presenting has come.
But I'm not able to see my screen. Yeah, suppose I am presenting your Chrome tab. Your entire screen is a window or Chrome tab, which I should select. PPT only. PPT format. Entire screen. No, that's what I'm selecting. But my screen is not coming. Somebody else's page is coming. There is one gentleman. Yeah. share it, a quick share also. You are presenting your screen, but I'm not able to see my screen, no? Minimize this.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'll do that. No, not necessary. Okay, you're all, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Microphone is on, can people
Yeah,
hear
sir.
me? Hello?
We are hearing you, sir.
Okay, right, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Sorry for this technical issue. Okay, they are not used to this. We'll start this presentation. Since I'm doing it blind, somebody has to respond whenever I ask some questions. Okay.
Yes, sir. We'll do, sir.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Thank you. I find almost 100 guys have logged in because I found myself logged out. I was waiting for somebody to log out so that I can log in. Very good. Now, let me just, I was introduced to you by one of your students. Now, a few weeks back, Mr. Veerappan requested us to give a small presentation to the student guys, student chapter guys on the importance of MEP. Now, as the caption says, can you guys see the caption? MEP services breathing life into the buildings, right? So, the MEP services really is the one which gives life to the building. Now, let's step back a little bit, step back and start looking at what is the building. There is some feedback noise there. Somebody's microphone is on.
Veerappan sir, can you mute your mic, sir? Veerappan sir.
Yeah. No, it's gone. Okay, very good. Now, the built environment, as per NBC, is classified into this different classifications. This is for the convenience of setting certain regulations in how these kind of buildings require what type of services and what type of regulations, right? So group A is residential buildings, group B is educational buildings, group C is institutional buildings, group D is assembly buildings. We'll just look into what each classification means little later. Group E is business buildings, mercantile buildings, industrial buildings, group H storage buildings, and group I is hazardous buildings. Now, residential buildings, of course, people know it comprises of single dwelling to gated community apartment complexes and also hotels, hostels, etc. Now, group B, educational buildings, as the name goes, schools, colleges, universities, etc. Now, institutional buildings, any buildings used for the purpose of healthcare and similar healthcare associated buildings. And just for presenting things, I have attached some photographs. You can see our multi-speciality hospital there. Then assembly buildings, usually they are cinema theaters, shopping malls, auditoriums, gymnasiums, restaurants. This is our Chennai High Court, assembly buildings. Then business buildings, offices, and similar where business is done, like a bank, halls, etc. Then mercantile buildings. This is where shopping complexes, individual big shops. These are called as mercantile buildings, where retailing is done. And industrial buildings, of course, everybody knows what an industrial building. And storage buildings, I have given a small picture only. Nowadays, storage buildings are huge in lakhs of square foot for Walmart, Flipkart, or even Amazon. Their storage buildings are huge in lakhs and lakhs of square foot. So warehouses they call storage buildings. Then hazardous buildings where hazardous things are stored like explosives, LPG gas cylinders, etc. Now, having said these different types of buildings, by the definition as well as the examples what you saw, you can now yourself understand the various classifications and why these are classified like that. And definitely each classification needs certain type of services. Like a hospital, it may need a certain type of services like medical gas systems, oxygen or nitrous oxide, etc. Certain services are required, and certain specifications are required for that specially. So these that is why these classifications have been done. Now, the importance of MEP, which the architects who design the buildings, and they always strive to design the most beautiful buildings. If you happen to, I mean, as a student fraternity, student community, you may not be immediately understanding the context of what I'm going to tell you because you are not experienced in that unless some of the students' parents are architects or engineers in the similar field. It's for some more years to go to understand this personally. So what I'm meaning is, if you talk to an architect, you simply see whenever an architect designs a building, he will not see what is below, what is above. That is, what is below means the ground, what is above means the sky. So for him, there is no limit. Earth is also not a limit, sky is also not a limit for him. He will simply design a building without considering what is below and what is above. That is the hidden meaning behind that, right? So it is for the engineers to pull them down. Look, we have got something below and something above, we have got restrictions. We have to design the building within these restrictions. But as an architect, he won't do that. Because for him, the beauty, ultimately the beauty is the outlook, what he is looking out. Okay, what wants to bring it out. But as far as he is concerned, is correct, right? Then only he'll be able to design the best possible building. But however, how the beautiful building he designs, it is the MEP which breathes life into these buildings. For example, imagine you are in the most famed and most beautiful building in the whole world. Now, you remove the lights, you stop the heating and air conditioning systems inside the building, remove the lifts and escalators, right? Stop the complete power supply, stop complete plumbing, the water supply and drainage, remove the security and CCTV surveillance systems, right? Remove the complete fire protection systems also inside the building. So in effect, remove the complete MEP outside the building. What happens? You will end up in a cold, if you are in a cold climate, or you end up in a hot completely uninhabitable, concrete, empty space. You can not even live inside for even a minute. Now you all know today or for the past few days in Chennai, the temperature is around 40 plus. Okay, today is supposed to be 41, 42. Yesterday is 42, I was told. Oh, everybody, every one of you who is watching this webinar is a little bit new experience where you can't see the audience, how they are responding to whatever I'm telling. It's quite interesting. Okay, whatever. Now, at 42 degrees centigrade, imagine you do whatever I have told in the earlier slide. You can't even sit for a few minutes and see this webinar. Even if you are sitting in the comfort of the home without at least the ceiling fan on, you can't sit there with today's weather, right? So MEP has become such an important affair in today's environment. So what is MEP? It is a shortened form for mechanical, electrical and plumbing services. Now the student fraternity here is from the civil engineering department. I was told the civil engineering department is hosting this, but probably other branch guys also should attend this mechanical and electrical, because MEP is more of mechanical and electrical. It's the shortened form of that. So MEP comprises of mechanical services, electrical services and plumbing services. As of late, due to the importance of the fire and life safety services, they have also added the fire protection systems into MEP also, and they have added one F. Now it's being called as MEPF. So in recent years, maybe past 1 or 2 years, the industry started calling it as MEPF, not only MEP. So first, let's see what the mechanical services. Now, Mr. Veerappan, you are online. Mr. Abbas?
Yes, sir. Yes, tell me, sir.
And I just wanted to know, the mechanical students are also there in this.
Mechanical service.
Yes, civil and mechanical, sir. Both the students are there, sir. Both the
Okay. Mechanical guys are also there. Fine. I just want to know that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
now, when mechanical engineering students, moment they see these mechanical services, they might, for a fraction of a second, may think, yes, this is something what I should know about or I should already be knowing about. But unfortunately, I'm going to tell you will not be knowing even a single item what is going to be told now. It is not part of the regular college syllabus curriculum, right? This is taught after the college, but of course, yes, the fundamentals are definitely taught in the college curriculum. I'm again stressing the fundamentals are definitely taught, but the applications of the fundamentals, this is what you're going to look at now, which are not necessarily taught at the graduate, there is BE graduate curriculum, right? I'm also a mechanical engineer, so I know what are being taught in the colleges, right? Okay. Now the foremost of the mechanical services is number 1 is MVAC, is mechanical ventilation and air conditioning services. Number 2, refrigeration, which is an allied field, allied service. Medical gas systems, which comprises of oxygen, nitrous oxide, compressed air, medical vacuum, that is for suction, then AGSS, anesthetic gas scavenging system, and CO2 gas supply system. Now, even though they are all different gases by name, as a combination, they are called as medical gas, because in a hospital environment, all these gases are supplied at the same point in every room or operation theaters wherever it's required. So design of these systems comes under mechanical services. Then compressed air generation and piping system, both for hospitals as well as industries. LPG storage yards and gas supply piping systems, mostly for industries. Hot water generation and distribution system for space heating as an air conditioning requirement in cold climates. We generate hot water and distribute everywhere to every room, and using heating coils we produce hot environment in the cold climate areas. Like we do it in, not in Chennai of course, we do it in northern India, in Shimla, Kashmir, places like where the temperature is very less, or even in Ooty also. Process cooling piping systems in industries where there are so many processes like injection molding, where the plastic raw material is melted and then supplied and pumped into a molding device for molding various things like your PET bottles, Coke bottles, your medicine bottles, or your glucose IV solution bottles, etc. And these molds require cooling continuously, heating as well as cooling also, to maintain certain temperatures. And the piping system designed and the cooling system designed is called the process cooling systems, which is usually be in industries. Transportation systems like lifts, escalators, travelators, etc. Then electrical services. Electrical services starts with the receiving stations. The receiving stations wherein the power supplied by the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board at a higher voltage in the ranges of 220 or 110 kilovolts or 33 kilovolts is received in a location and then transformed into medium voltage. Our most of the industries, almost all the industries use 415 volts as the power supply voltage within the industrial complex or in the housing complex also. This voltage is called as medium voltage, MV. So medium voltage distribution network, this is at 415 volts. Then diesel generators for standby power supply needs. This DG sets is not provided in every application like our own homes. Maybe we don't provide that, but in a little bit upper end apartments, etc., they provide DG sets for the apartments also. But in industries, they always provide DG sets because they can't afford to lose production and then because of that turnover. Then earthing and lightning protection is a very important aspect of electrical engineering services. Lighting system, UPS and inverter systems. UPS and inverter is for giving standby power in the event of power failure. We all, you people should always, you will be very much conversant with this because every computer uses an UPS system. And inverters, this is also for emergency power supply in residential environment. Solar power generation system, which has become now mandatory as per the government norms. Every apartment complex which is being constructed beyond certain square foot area, you have to have 1/3 of the terrace to be allocated for solar power generation. That is a mandatory rule in Tamil Nadu. And this solar power generation is catching up very well in India because of the central government norms. Then extra low voltage, we call it ELV, extra low voltage systems, which is in the order of 24 to 48 volts, which comprises of closed circuit television systems for CCTV. This is majorly used for security requirements. Then MATV is master antenna TV for entertainment. It was very prevalent during the when cable TV was predominant. People used to have master dish antennas on the roofs, and then they will each set of whatever service provider, they will have one set of antennas, and that will be taken in. All major hotels, hospitals had this. Now since DTH has come direct to home, this went off, and DTH antennas are being used now. Now telephone networking, obviously you know what is it. From a common exchange, we do the wiring network for so many telephone outlets. There are norms and standards for this. And electrical services, ALV, public address system. This is for addressing the people to do certain things in case of emergency. This is there in normal PA system, as well as like your token systems in banks. Token number so and so will be addressed, like your token numbers in passport offices. This is a PA system. So public address systems, like your car calling address system, or when you go to a big what is that, a hotel, and then park your car to valet parking, then your car will be called through this PA system. The driver will be bringing it back. Access control system. This is for door entry and secured access into certain secured areas. Lighting control system. Okay, this is for controlling the lights without getting up and switching on the switches. You will have digital switches, and you can switch on using your smartphone itself. Switch on or switch off, or dim the lights, dim up or dim down the lights or fans, or even close the curtain, open the curtains of windows using your smartphones. Then server and data networking systems. This you know what is it? Building automation system. This is again an for automating the operations of various services, what you saw just now, both mechanical and electrical services, and what you will see a little bit later, BHE services also, this plumbing services also. This can be automated and brought, and the operation and control can be brought to a single place, and it can be controlled through a single computer. Building automation systems. Now, of course, the P, that is MEP, plumbing services. Normally it's called as PHE, Public Health Engineering Services. It includes water, starts with water storage and distribution system for domestic needs, sewage drain piping system, there's water in and water out, storm drain piping systems, rainwater harvesting and recycling systems. Nowadays it's a mandatory, as per the government norms, you have to harvest the rainwater, and part of the rainwater harvesting can be recharging into the earth, or collect at least 30% of the everyday peak rain into underground storage tanks, and then recycle it for domestic use. This is mandatory now. Irrigation piping, this is for the piping system meant for gardening, meant for similar needs. It can be an automated sprinkler system, it can be a drip irrigation system, depending upon the requirement of the specific areas. The system design required for this, the engineering required for this comes under this irrigation piping system design. Water treatment systems. Not all water available at the respective source, either well water or a bore water or even the river water, they are not immediately potable, that is drinkable. We have to test the quality of the water and then resort to certain amount of treatment to that water so that the water becomes potable. Now you will see a little bit later on the slides, moment I told you water becoming potable or whatever, the earlier services also, that then immediately you should recognize there should be a standard which says water should be potable. Okay, so those standards we'll be looking in little bit later and understand what is it. Okay, and the importance and the relevance of that. Then sewage treatment and recycling system. The item number 2, if you look up there, sewage drain piping system. Whatever the sewage being drained through that piping system has to be collected, treated properly, and should be recycled. This is now becoming mandatory and even becoming a common practice. Even Chennai Metro Water is also going to treat the sewage and recycle that treated sewage into the public domestic water system due to acute scarcity of water available during summer times. Then the next item is hot water generation and distribution system for domestic needs. You must have seen a similar hot water generation distribution that is for the air conditioning needs. That comes under mechanical services. This comes under plumbing services. Here also hot water is generated and the generation system will be similar. Both will be same, but distribution network will be different. For plumbing it will be different, little bit different. The design aspect is little bit different than as compared to what is required for air conditioning requirement. Okay. Now then solid waste collection and treatment system. Even though you might look into plumbing means fluid mechanics, only liquid is supposed to be involved. How come solid waste being talked about here? Please understand, even though we say plumbing services, is supposed to be PHE, Public Health Engineering Services, where solid waste also forms part of that. So solid waste collection and treatment system. And for your information, if you look into the National Building Code of India, NBC, which is a huge document, 2-volume book published by Bureau of Indian Standards, talks about all these services. Okay, and they have included solid waste collection and treatment system chapter amongst plumbing. It's included in chapter 9, which talks about plumbing. Okay. Then effluent treatment. Effluent treatment is something different from sewage treatment in that this is not a biological waste, this is a chemical waste. Chemical waste which can come out of let us say a dyeing plant where they give the coloration to the clothes, and the discarded liquid waste from that plant is called as an effluent, which carries a lot of chemical waste. They have to be properly treated before letting it into the public sewers. This is what is the major problem which was created near Tirupur, and the entire area there has become you can't do cultivation there because of the entire groundwater has got polluted because of this effluent being just like that discarded into the open space. Now, fire protection services. This is the F part which has been added recently now, MEPF. Now, this is a very, very important field of MEP services, wherein this talks about, this gives you, even though this service will never be activated, for God's sake, should never be activated, but if happens, this becomes a very serious, which causes serious damage to both life and property. So this is an important service which has to be done properly, designed properly and executed properly at site. Broadly, the fire protection service is classified into two main systems. namely fire fighting systems and fire detection and alarm systems. The first one, firefighting system, is purely a mechanical engineering system, and the fire detection alarm system is a part of electrical engineering system, electrical and of course electronics. Firefighting system, number one, this comprises of fire water, UG and overhead storage tanks, then fire water pumping systems, which involves main pumps as well as by mandatory requirements. In case the main electrical driven pumps fail, you are supposed to have a diesel engine driven pumps also. So the fire water pumping system comprises of electrical pumps, diesel pumps, and pressure maintaining jockey pumps. A small pump to maintain the pressure in case of small leakages in the piping system. Then, of course, the fire water piping, which carries this water piping to various places of use within the building and outside the building also. Internal and external hydrant system is the outlet points. Fire sprinkler system. Fire sprinkler system is automatic spray mechanism which gets on when there is a fire within the premises, and there will be a small glass bulb filled with easily vaporizable alcoholic liquid inside, which at specific temperatures they expand and break the bulb, glass bulb, thereby opening the nozzle, and through the nozzle we can spray water. And just now, somebody's microphone is on. Okay, now. Okay, I'll continue. High velocity nozzle spray system. This is for storage yards, LPG bullet storage yards, or for you can see Indian oil storage yards where they have huge tanks storing flammable petroleum products like diesel or kerosene or petrol. To cool down the tank, they have.
Kantipan sir, just a minute. Amala madam, HOD's sir's this one is on microphone.
Okay, sir. I will inform you. Inform, sir.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Okay. Then foam spray systems. These foam spray systems, they are used for flammable liquid fire like petrol, diesel, etc. Like in big airports where an aeroplane catches fire, and the amount of foam to be discharged has to be in a huge quantity because the airplane will be standing 150, 200 feet long. So you have to have a foam spray which will be covering these 200, 300 feet distances. So they'll be coming in huge tankers and lorries and sprayed out there. Foam spray systems, usually used in airports, and small foam spray system, that is your extinguisher. They are also available, which sprays foam for flammable liquid fire. Then gas flooding and high pressure water mist system for kitchen hoods. Kitchen hoods means in hotels and hospitals, in professional kitchens, they have food on top of the cooking ranges to exhaust out the heat. Now, if it catches fire, if there's a fire which is caught in at the cooking range, there will be gas flooding or high pressure water mist nozzles in the kitchen hoods, which will be flooding the entire area and suppressing the flame. This gas flooding also will be done in server rooms where using sprinklers is avoided, because if sprinklers come on, the hardware inside the server rooms will get damaged because of water contamination with water. So to avoid that, they use gas flooding, inert gas flooding. Fire protection service continued. This is the second part of it. Fire detection alarm systems. This is basically an electrical and electronics engineering application. This works based on sensing either the smoke or the heat or a beam of fire or a flame sensor, and based on these detections, there will be reactions taking place through a fire alarm control panel. Either a big sounder can start giving an alarm signal, and SMSs can be sent to concerned persons intimating these fire being sensed at so and so places, and reactions will be taken by the concerned human being by intervening into the and taking fire protection activations. Then this is called as VESDA, very early smoke detection and alarm system. This is utilized usually for servers and very high-end electrical switchboard installations. This detects the smoldering fire and gives an alarm much earlier when than the fire starts. Okay, now I'll just give a small summary of whatever we saw. We have just seen the classification of building and the requirement for the classification of the building, so that each building, the MEP services what are required can be easily identified as a unique application. So the building classifications were told to you, and what are the MEP services, what are the services covered under each of the MEP and firefighting, fire protection systems. The services have been explained to you. Now, having said what are all the services we have to design for, let us say, for example, a water supply system design, which is a part of PHE. You're asked to design the water supply network there, which has to start with the UG tank sizing. Now, how much of water has to be stored? Now, you should have some data behind this for this specific classification of the building. Let's say a residential complex, which, if you remember, is in group A, or an office complex, which is in group, I think, group E, business building. Now we want to size the UG tank. Now, how do we know how many persons are inside that apartment, or how many persons are inside that particular office, and for each person how much water has to be stored? How do you know that? You can't go by your experience. Your experience, I don't think people might accept always, but the collective experience of all the people, if it is gathered and written down in some notebooks, written down in some codes and standards, then that will be applicable, that will be accepted by everybody, because this is a collective experience of everybody involved, everybody concerned, and it is recorded. And over and above that, if it is published by an authority like Ministry of Urban Development, Government of India, then everybody will accept. Of course, within our country, it's not for England to accept it; it's for them to accept or not to accept. But as long as it's within our country, definitely we'll 100% accept it. So these kind of data for designing the systems, for mechanical engineering students, they have a design data book where they have data for designing certain components of machines like nuts, bolts, or whatever. These data are already available with them, which they use for machine design. Okay. Similarly, handbooks and data books are published for MEP services, and these codes and standards I'll be just listing it. just for information's sake. The MEP system designs are done with the data and procedures recommended in various codes. I is missing in various codes and standards as under the National Building Code of India. This is the prime publication which lists out for the complete MEPF plus civil engineering. Okay, entire gamut of engineering services. You name anything for a building service, it is listed in NBC. Okay, and it is augmented. If it is missing it out there, it is augmented in IS publications, which is coming out next. Relevant code number 3. Relevant codes from Bureau of Indian Standards, which is commonly called as IS codes, from Government of India, again published through Ministry of Urban Development. So these two, National Building Code plus IS codes, will cover the entire requirement of the design codes and standards for all engineering. NBC has got Section 4, Fire and Life Safety, Section 9, Plumbing Services, Section 8, Electrical and Air Conditioning Services, like that. So all, and is a big 2-volume book. It's a very good document. Recently published in 2016. Of course, it was initially published in 1983 or even before that, 1950s. But the recent updated edition is 2016 in 2 volumes. And I was told this is already undergoing revisions now. Then the Development Control Regulations, item number 2, which is written down, or we would say the basic document for these development DCRs, called as Development Control Regulations of CMDA or DTCP, Government of Tamil Nadu. They write down certain regulations, which I would say 60 to 70% will be taken out from NBC, National Building Code, and the balance 30% they themselves add certain things to suit the local requirements. Okay. Design standards published by Indian Society of Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Engineers, shortly called as ISHRE. So they have published certain design standards, from which this is usually for air conditioning and refrigeration. This is referred to for gathering information like what is the ambient temperature at various locations of the country, like Chennai, Madurai, Coimbatore, New Delhi, or name any important city. The design summer temperature, monsoon and winter temperatures will be given there, so that you can do your air conditioning system design, what is so-called heat load calculations. Okay, how much of heat has to be removed to air condition this building and maintain this at a set temperature of 24 degrees centigrade. So these calculations, which are required to find out that amount of heat, is termed as heat load calculations. Now, National Electric Code from Bureau of Indian Standards. This is a separate code only for electrical engineering services, which is a part of it will also be appearing in NBC also, and this will be more specific, right? This is a little bit more elaborate also. This is for electrical engineering design. This will tell you what size of wires, the cross-sectional area of wires to be used for what amps, what size of wires minimum has to be used, like that. Okay, and the earthing recommendations, like all sort of regulations. Then CPRI, Central Power Research Institute, Bangalore, they have also laid down certain norms and principles how the equipments have to be. Like for example, CPRI approved switchboards, electrical boards is a norms which is to be followed in the industry. So the way with which the switchboard has to be manufactured, the guidance of which is set down by CPRI, and manufacturers all over the country, they take their switchboard to CPRI, get it tested and get a certificate. So CPRI tested certificate enhanced your marketability of your switchboards. Electrical Research and Development Association, ERDA, this is for testing of major components, your transformer. We want to test, have it tested and certified. This is done in these locations. This is located at Baroda, Vadodara now it's called as. Then Uniform Electrical Plumbing Code of India, UIPCI, from IPA, Indian Plumbing Association. So IPA is published with a tie-up with an American organization called IAPMO. It has published a code book. Now, most of the civil engineering guys who are student chapter fellows now, you must be knowing it. And in IPPL, which was conducted in your college, IPPL training was conducted in your college last year. People are referring to this book only. So this is again a code book which contains a lot of information on design concepts, how things have to be designed. It will not necessarily tell you the design calculation methodology, the mathematical procedures. No, it may not tell you, but it will give you the design data requirements and how it has to be designed. Okay. In addition to the whatever you have seen just now, they are Indian locally published codes. In addition to these codes, and foreign codes are also referred to by us for designing, which I thought is fit to be told here. NFPA, National Fire Protection Association of USA. So this is utilized for certain fire protection system designs. National Electric Code of USA. This is equivalent to our National Electric Code, NEC of India. Design handbooks published by American Society of Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Engineers, shortly called as ASHRAE. So the design and fundamental design and knowledge imparting handbooks published by ASHRAE, we would say that is the Bible for any professional taking up air conditioning as a profession. Right. Someone wants to tell me something? The design manual from Carrier Corporation of USA. This is again a very good design manual, and it's a very good teaching manual also in post-graduation curriculum for refrigeration air conditioning, ME in refrigeration air conditioning. This manual will almost be referred to as a textbook. This design manual from Carrier Corporation. Design handbooks from British Plumbing Institute is a very good design manual, which also teaches you the design concepts. It's a very good manual. And design handbooks from American Society of Plumbing Engineers, ASPE. Again, this is in 4 volumes. Very good design handbooks. Design handbooks from Chartered Institute of Building Services Engineers. In the UK, there's a separate institution for building service engineers. It's called as CHIBSE, CABSE. CHIBSE it's called as, where MEP engineers are given membership. Okay, so in effect, a single individual becoming an MEP trained guy is very, very, very rare in the market. Okay, that we'll see a little bit later. Then relevant quotes from British Standards Institutes, UK. Okay, now there's not time. 1 second. Let me just get back to how do I. Having said this, okay, what do we do in as an MEP designer? Can you see this some CAD drawings on the screen? Mr. Abbas, or who is?
Yes, Kandipan, yes.
You can see.
You can see, no? Okay. Now,
Yeah.
having said what is MEP, what is the components of MEP design features, etc., etc. Now, what do you do? Okay, I have told what are the components, and what do the guys who is so-called MEP engineers, what do they do? And as I just briefly told you, a single individual having knowledge of complete MEP is very, very rare. Very rare, and because as I listed out, there are n number of parallel service activities which he has to master it. Even if an electrical engineer, he has to master it.
மேம் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் வந்து அது மெக்கானிக்கல் கோஆர்டினேட்டர் வாட்ச் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு மேம். ஹலோ, மெக்கானிக்கல் கோஆர்டினேட்டர் அதுல வாட்ச் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு மேம். கொஸ்டின்ஸ் அதுல வந்து அவர் பார்த்துட்டு இதுல கேட்பாரு மேம்.
Okay, you can continue.
ஃபீட்பேக் லிங்க்கும் அதுல ஃபீட்பேக் லிங்க்கும்
மேடம்
பண்றோம் மேம்.
அமலா மேம் அமலா மேம்
அதுலயும் சாட் பாக்ஸ் இருக்கு மேம். அதுலயும் சாட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க.
அமலா மேம் அமலா மேடம், please mute your mic. You are disrupting the presentation.
Okay, I'm just continuing. Having said that, what do these guys do?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. இப்போ third year ல இருக்குறதுல அவன் தான் மேம், லோகேஷ் தான் மேம்.
In effect, there are engineers with specialization in the respective fields, like an air conditioning engineer, a plumbing engineer, an electrical electronic design engineers, like that.
சரிங்க மேம்.
Combination of
நான் இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிட்டேன் மேம்.
It's very, very rare. Very rare. Okay, now let me give a brief look, insight. Since because this is for the students community, I'll just give a brief insight into what do these guys do. Okay, it may not be in full, because if I have to tell you in full, it will take a lot of time, even I don't know, so many days. I mean the design concepts of each and every service. Okay, now let me just briefly tell you, for any MEP service to be designed, you need to have a building, obviously, right? Because these are all what we just saw about is an MEP service, which is called as building services. First of all, a building has to be there for designing the service. Now, as you look into the picture there, this is an architectural layout of a building, one of the floor plans with some services drawn. Okay, whatever. So this building is taken in by the respective designer, and he starts designing the respective service. What is required? What is required is decided based on the classification of the building, group A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, as per the National Building Code. What are all the things required for each and every building? That classification decides. Then, having decided what is required, how that requirement has to be fulfilled, they go into design codes, and referring to design code, they start designing. And after designing, what do they do? As an engineering student, your professors have taught you this simple phrase: drawing is the language of engineers. Okay, your professor should have told you. So, having designed things for communicating to other people, they have to make it in a drawing format. So that is what they do immediately afterwards. And what I have projected just now is a hospital building, one of the floors of the hospital building, where the firefighting system installations are shown. Okay, now you can, if we zoom, I mean, you are seeing the zoomed areas. Someone can say yes to this. Yes, okay. Now what is being seen here? They are all the sprinkler piping and sprinklers, right? So these piping systems will be put inside, and designing of this, how to design this, the code books will tell you how to design this, and you draw this inside this. Then this is the drawing for firefighting, fire protection system. Electrical drawings. After designing the electrical systems, the fellows make electrical drawings and put in place. Normally we have 5 electrical drawings for every floor. This displays only the fittings and the dimensions. Yeah, a 2 foot 600 by 600 tube light fitting in the false ceiling, and the distance between them is 2.4 meters. You can see this now, right? Clearly. Now this kind of a drawing, this is the layout of light fixtures. Then this gives you the emergency lighting circuit drawing. This gives you the circuit layout. This gives you the switch control. This gives you the cable tray. So this is the cable tray layout, wherein from the this is one of the AHU rooms, electrical room, which is the one. Yeah, this is the main electrical room. You can see the cable tray coming out. These things will be above the false ceiling, and this is the central corridor. And the cable tray runs in the central corridor and branches off to places where the power supply is required. Maybe this is one of the rooms, one of the DBs where the power supply is required. So this is the AHU room. It goes into the cable tray, goes into the AHU room, and gives a cable connection to a switch located in the AHU room. So this is the cable tray layout. This is the switch control. Where is the switch? The switch is here. This controls all these light points. So this is one of the electrical drawings done, and this is the circuit layout. Okay, whatever. This is on the electrical. Now HVAC. HVAC means air conditioning, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. Air conditioning system layout. You can see there is something. This is called as ducting, supply ducting, return ducting, which happens above the false ceiling. The squares, what you see down below, is the false ceiling grid square, and this is seen from above the false ceiling. And this is the ducting layout. This is a fan coil unit, the individual patient room. This is a hospital, I told you, no. This is a patient rooms. Okay. Now this is a 2D drawing. Now this is the plumbing layout. Plumbing layout will not happen everywhere. Obviously, plumbing layouts will be happening only within toilets. So this is the toilet. This is the drainage layout. And this is one major toilet, one more major toilet over here. Oh, there is piping below the slab for the toilets, and going into a shaft and going down. Now this is a plumbing layout. Once these layouts are done individually, people do a coordinated drawing, everything in one layer, one sheet. This becomes the most complicated one, right? Now, as you look at it, you can't understand anything. As in, just now when I showed you individual services drawing, at least you can see something. But here, you can't see anything. You can't comprehend most of the things because everything is falling one above the other. Now here only we have to get inside in a microscopic view format and then coordinate amongst the services so that clashes are not there. So for example, for this only nowadays drawing tools have come, Revit drawings. I have Revit which is opening, with which 3D views are possible. If you look up here, there is a concrete beam, right? There is an air conditioning equipment behind this. People can see what is on the screen. Know what I'm showing?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. This air conditioning equipment. This is the fan and coil inside. This is small duct length where the air comes out. This is the air grill. Now this is obstructed by a concrete beam. Definitely, structural engineers will not allow such a big opening in the concrete beam. But this is identified by this Revit 3D drawing. A 2D drawing is made in Revit software and converted into 3D. It converts it automatically, and these clashes are seen. Now this informs the structural guy who will give a solution by removing this beam or whatever. In fact, he removed the beam in this project. These are the various views. You can see this is a beam here. This is the pipeline coming out. Okay. This is the toilet portion above the false ceiling. This is the pipeline, and this is the clash. All these clashes are identified to the structural designer, who will give cutouts, or he might reduce the beam height or whatever. Or ultimately, he'll ask us to reroute our piping to some other way. So this is what happens. This is the designing aspect of it. Okay. Having told about what are the MEP services, what these MEP guys actually do, I have left out the designing portions. The designing portion, if we have to cover it here, it will take a lot of time. Individual service itself will take 2-3 sessions. If you want to cover air conditioning, it will take 2-3 sessions or so, or even more than that. Okay, whatever it is. So this is what the MEP designers do ultimately. And after the drawings are done, then it is given to a vendor or a contractor, so-called, for execution at site. And at site, of course, there are norms and standards which have to be followed. They have to be strictly followed at site, and execution is done. And the commissioning or switching on of the commissioning means is an engineering term for properly switching on in sequence of any engineering service. The systems are commissioned and put to beneficial use. Okay, so that's how it is. Now, in fact, MEP and firefighting now, as I told you when I started this presentation, this is not as such being taught in any engineering college as a curriculum. But fundamentals definitely are. They are taught. But within these 4 years of engineering curriculum, whichever branch may be, it will be difficult to teach MEP. I mean, it won't be possible to find the timing for that. So I would recommend the college to have a MEP course started, which will be very much beneficial for the student community. They will get absorbed, like Mr. Jose will be highlighting tomorrow. What are the career opportunities? You'll have a lot of career opportunities for an MEP engineer. It's very rare to get MEP training, all services with one single guy, right? So very rare, very rare. So if a curriculum is done, it will be nice. Syllabus can be formed, and then you can even ask professionals like us to conduct classes also, and that will be a good option for the college also as a postgraduate level. And all branches can also participate in mechanical, electrical, and civil also. Okay. And with that, I conclude my presentation. And any questions, I'll be we can take it up. Okay. So thank you very much. Any questions we can ask.
There is a question, Kantipan sir, from Kirtika. She is asking, what are the various softwares used in designing these MEP services other than rivets? Any specific software used for individual services in designing?
See, for MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, the Revit itself has got the design softwares for air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing services. Designs gets the output. Say, suppose you want to convey power from point A to point B. Point A is your main switch code. Point B is a 50 HP 50 horsepower CNC drilling machine. Okay. Now, Revit software takes the input data. It calculates the distance traveled by the route, because it is drawing itself. And based on the distance traveled, it will size the cable size by the sizing software built inside itself. And then if you draw the routing, based on the routing, it takes the length and calculates the voltage drop and size the cable accordingly and gives the output. Okay. So Revit software itself has got all the design calculations options also. So apart from that, in air conditioning, we use heat load calculation software predominantly from Carrier Corporation. called as HAP, hourly analysis program, because we have to find out the heat load every hour. Okay, various used in. So hourly analysis program, we use similar software from Train also. It's called Tracer. So this was calculating the heat load, and apart from that, only civil engineering guys use structural design. They got softwares for that. Apart from that, there is a piping design software exclusively used by piping design engineers. It's a very, very unique and costly software wherein not only it designs the piping sizes, it also calculates the stresses inside the piping, because the piping, when it is welded and made into different bends, elbows, and ups and downs, it imparts certain stress into the system. So the stress removal also is calculated by the software and gives the real solutions for that. So those kind of software are used. Right. Apart from that, not much of software are there. Okay.
Kirtika, I hope your question has been answered. Is there any other question, Madam Amala?
No, sir.
No.
Okay. So can we close this? Somebody is going to take the thank you. Amala Madam, is there anybody?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I invite our mechanical HOD sir to give the vote of thanks, sir.
Yeah.
So, happy afternoon, all the dignitaries and our faculty members and students and faculty who joined from our college and other colleges. It is my pleasure to propose the vote of thanks. I would like to first thank our civil HOD madam for giving this opportunity to associate with such a wonderful function. So, on behalf of the faculty of civil and mechanical engineering and the Indian Plumbing Association chapter of the Ishwari Engineering College, I would like to first thank our management, represented with chairman, co-chairman sir, and director sir, and principal and vice principals for giving us the support and logistics to conduct such a program. Next, I would like to thank our profound thanks to Mr. Hussain Abbas Lahiri, who is the chairman of the IPA, who is also the director, marketing and product management, Lahiri Instrumentation and Walls Private Limited, and Mr. Kantipan sir for the wonderful presentation that he has given. He is the managing partner of SR Associates and a member of it. And thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation. Your presentation was very illustrative and lucid. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you, Veerappan sir, for the coordination that you have done. He is a reason for the IPA to start here. Next, I would like to thank you, sir. Next, I would like to thank our civil HOD madam, Dr. Lavanya madam, for being the linchpin for getting this program into Ishwari. She is a very active and very good researcher, a wonderful team member and a leader. I thank her for the leadership she has shown in getting this program. Thank you, madam. Next, I would like to thank Amala madam and Selvadurai sir for coordinating the faculty coordinators, and Lokesh, the student president of this IPA Ishwari chapter. And all the volunteers, faculty and staff, those who have worked tirelessly to get this program going. And I also would like to thank the other presenters that are going to be there, Mr. S.V. Raja and Joseph Matthew sir. Thank you all for being associated in the program in the first place. And I once again thank Abbas Lahiri sir for the wonderful support and thing he has given us. And thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you on behalf of IPA, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.